I have held on to this remnant of fabric for years, waiting for the perfect reason to give it life. Today, I'm turning these sentimental memories into a cozy set of pajamas for my grandson. He's 2.5, the perfect age to wear night clothes made with remnants from his brother's blanket. Follow along as I honor the past while I provide you with what you need to create your own family heirloom. I'm not using toddler sizing to replicate the fit at home, but showing you how you can use a garment you already have to sew a similar item. The original blankets are made of plaid cotton flannel. I made it for my older grandsons who are now 5 going on 6. March is the perfect time for sewing gifts. We transition into spring, the children are back to school, and it's nice to have a handmade gift to give when they visit. I'm not working with measurements, but with one of his pants as the model. That example is an engineered print with no front seam, but we'll use it anyway. As usual, pre-wash fabrics with gentle, eco-friendly detergents to ensure they are safe for a toddler's skin. When it's dry, make sure the pattern pieces strategically maximize every inch of your sentimental material. I'm using plaid, so I have to match the stripes. Here, I'm sizing up the fabric, exploring my options because you don't have many when you're working with plaid remnants. Besides, I want to later make a shirt. If you have enough fabric, you can add inches for growth and they can wear it for more than one season because you're working with an elastic waistline. I want my lines to match, so I'll skip the room for growth part. As you can see, here I'm forming the front and back lengths of the pants. The back is usually higher to fulfill the measurements of the seat, giving it more room where it's needed. So when you are making your pants, you can add a 1/2 inch or more to meet the toddler's measurements. If you aren't taking a measurement and you feel like adding a 1/2 inch or so for room to grow, you can do that. You can use scrap fabric to try this sewing project or use it as a practice for beginners. The pajamas do not have side seams. By choice, I eliminated it because I don't have enough fabric. And after I cut the first half of the pants, I'm carefully matching the pattern before I cut again. When you're working with plaids, you try to match the most prominent or boldest lines across the seams for a professional look. You'll notice because the front of the pants is lower, the final waistline has a slant. So to make the fold-over casing even, I bring the front towards the back and snip it. That little slit marks the place where I'll cut it and make it even. Although the pants I'm using has an added casing, Sewing Tips and Tricks has taught me that using a fold-over casing uses fewer seams and less fabric if you are working with plaids or diagonal prints. I used flannel and batten for my blanket, front and back, so the remnants were all flannel. But here's some helpful guidelines, especially if you're using lightweight materials like cotton batiste, often used as underlining for soft cotton quilts. In the fabric layout, check for permanent creases at the fold line and avoid it. Use cotton thread and size 10 needle with a 2.5 or 3 millimeter stitch. Use a single hole presser foot and a small hole throat plate and adjust the machine tension on a swatch of fabric that you're using. Adjust your sewing machine settings to wider stitches and change your needle to handle thicker vintage or blanket materials without snagging them. You'll only need soft interfacing if you are doing collars and cuffs of a tailored nature. Now, you have to do some creative planning when you are working with remnants and scraps, especially plaid ones or stripes. I tried to save 2 inches of fabric, but it wouldn't let me. So I moved the fabric over until all the stripes matched, and then I cut. Using French seams, I'm sewing the front and back together. Remember, the pants have no side seams, meaning I'll only have a seam at front and back and the inseams in the legs. When I get to sewing the legs and reach the place where the front and back seams meet, I snip them off, the seams, a little less than 1/4 of an inch so I could enclose them in my inseams, the leg inseams. Remember, those measurements are a guide. Work with what you have. The exact length of the elastic you're using to make this circle depends upon its stretchability, but it should be slightly less than the measurement of the body at the casing position, plus 1/2 inch or 1.5 centimeter for lapping. All casings should be at least 1/4 inch, 6 millimeters, wider than the elastic or drawstring they are to enclose, to allow for its free movement through the fabric tunnel. There are 2 types of casing: fold down, as I am using, and applied. A fold down casing is formed by turning an extension at the garment edge to the inside and stitching it in place. This casing is ideal for pull-on pants such as this and skirts, especially those made of knit fabrics. We are getting to the finish line. I'm hemming the pants with a 5/8 inch double fold. It's simple. One turn, then another, and stitch. Don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and end of the seams. So, we finished the pants. Next up is the top. I'll find a suitable rib knit for the neck and cuffs and return. If you enjoy these quiet moments, subscribe to All My Ways Andrea for more ideas and inspiration. As always, thank you for being here. I appreciate your presence.